Thank you very much for that kind introduction and for the honor of getting to address all of you today. As a self-deprecating, pessimistic Minnesotan, trained in my formative years by long, cold winters and the repeated failures of my cherished sports teams, I'm not exactly sure why I'm up here. I mean, my scholarly specialty is in the apocalypse, the end, not the beginning. I often find commencement addresses to be full of meaningless platitudes. Work hard, have some grit, rah, 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 blah, blah, blah. This occasion got me thinking about what it is that has helped me overcome my innate skepticism and pessimism. What has thawed the chilled bones inside me? What has changed me, and what have I observed change other people? I can give the answer in one word: encounter. By encounter, I mean a real, genuine experience of another human being, one that gives life a new horizon and a decisive direction. Encounter's importance emerges from the religious and theological foundations of St. Ambrose University. Each human being is created in the image of God. As a result, encountering others is divine, a way of meeting and knowing God. Given your own background and beliefs, you may or may not be motivated by such a theological way of seeing the world, but when you ask a theologian to give the address, that's what you're going to get. But any graduate of St. Ambrose ought to begin every relationship recognizing the fundamental human dignity of the other. Sometimes encounter is easy, especially with those with whom we naturally identify. The more important encounters, the ones that change ourselves and the world, are those with people who are different than us, people we don't want to be close to. Such encounters require humility, listening, and patience. There are two big challenges to encounter in our world. Actually, there's probably more than two, but I'm only going to mention two. The first challenge is our digital lives. We interact with others as virtual avatars rather than in the flesh. Our digital spaces promising community and easy communication are actually money-grubbing tools of empire, stoking outrage and division. For genuine encounter, whether it's at your workplace or with your relatives, we must seek genuine experience of the other. We must look past the posts and focus on the human being. The second big challenge to encounter is that our society disregards and devalues the human dignity of significant parts of the population. The poor, the marginalized, those who have historically and still today experience systemic barriers to full social inclusion. We live in a world different than the one that God wants. Pope Francis gives vivid imagery to this idea when he talks about how we have created a throwaway culture in which human beings themselves are considered consumer goods to be used and then discarded. They are the leftovers. As a graduate of St. Ambrose, you need to live differently. The only true solution to our world's problems is encounter. It means entering into a genuine relationship with another person. It means making yourself vulnerable. I know very little about your fields of study, the information you have learned, or the skills you have acquired. But whether it's social work, physical therapy, criminal justice, I am certain you will have choices about whether or not to encounter the other. An Ambrosian should make the choice of encounter, especially when it seems particularly difficult. Now, let me be clear that I am a complete hypocrite for even talking about this. I'm not good at it. I could blame my Minnesotan upbringing, marked by stoicism and reticence to get up in other people's business. I could blame my scholarly, shy nerdiness. But the real reason I'm not good at it is selfishness. I'd rather be my own person, formulate my own thoughts, than risk an encounter that might ask me to change. My belief in encounter, however, is formed from those who have had the grace to offer me their genuine selves. I think of my wife. I think of two nuns who gently listened to me when I was a stupid 20-year-old. I think of my students and neighbors. Sorry, I knew this was going to happen. I think of my students and neighbors when I was a volunteer in Central America. I think of experiences I have had here in Davenport at the Cafe on Vine. These genuine human encounters changed me and are essential for how I understand what the world should be like. The world does not like the idea of encounter. Encounter is not efficient. It does not yield itself to tidy outcomes that can be put into an Excel spreadsheet. It takes time. Its paths are not linear. It's terrifying because you never know where it's going to lead. But that's exactly the point. It doesn't work according to our logic because it's not human, it's divine. I end with the words of Dorothy Day, who summarizes both the difficulty and the opportunity that encounter provides in words entirely appropriate for a beginning, an occasion of commencement. The greatest challenge of the day is how to bring about a revolution of the heart, a revolution which has to start with each one of us. When we begin to take the lowest place, to wash the feet of others, to love our brothers and sisters with that burning love, that passion which led to the cross, then we can truly say, now I have begun.